Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing with Dan Diker and Billy Doc Niles. Today's program is brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue on Highway 16 West Salem and downtown La Crosse. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists on La Crosse's north side. By Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona. Pizza Hut. Now here's Dan with this week's show.
Hi, again, race fans. Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing KQEG TV along with Billy Doc Niles. I am radio man Dan Diker. And Bill, we've weathered the storm. Only a couple of rainouts this year.
Surprisingly, the way the season started out. At
the end of the weekly points racing battles we've had at the Crosse Speedway, we did come to a nice conclusion last weekend with a couple of twin 20-lap features for the late models. We also had Bud Dash champions, Cole Howland. Man, his dad was happy to see that. It was all over Facebook. His girlfriend Leah as well. Adam Moore undisputedly took home the Bud Dash championship. And the Sportsman, the Cole Howland one came down to a tiebreaker.
So did the Sportsman one. And
the Steve Bachman was down to a tiebreaker as well.
Yep, it's pretty impressive when you got two classes running weekly in a little 6-lap dash. And with the exception of a couple of players interchanging, you got basically the same crowd darn near every week. And when it comes down to a tiebreaker, that means you've had a great season.
Well, like we normally do, we're going to recap the activity from last weekend. And we have a lot of video to show as we had two 20-lap features for the NASCAR late models. Let's roar into the last two laps right now of feature number one. And this was kind of an odd night because two names that you didn't expect to have podium finishes at the same time did. It just kind of flip-flopped the order a little bit. But what a time for Nick Clements to pull out win number one.
Yeah, he went wire to wire on this one. A little bit of drama, with the last lap. He had a one-lap shootout. Howland, as you see here, he's going to get some inside position on him going into one, but can't make it stick, and Clements was able to drive away with it. Kirshner gets by Mike Carlson on the last lap. If you watch this, coming out of turn 4, Mike Carlson hangs the shingle out a little bit. Kirshner just shoots underneath him, and bam, there's your top three, Clements, Howland, and Kirshner in the first 20-lapper.
As the points went through the night, Nick Panitsky had led Steve Carlson by 1. Then he trailed by 3 after the first qualifying was done and the feature was done. Well, as you're going to watch right now, the last two laps of the second 20-lap feature, Nick Panitsky shows why on lap 13 he stole the point lead right back.
He had him covered in that second one, patiently picked his way to the front and opened up a pretty nice lead there at the end. And what can you say? He had a little bit of problem in the first one. He got bit by a long-standing rule here at La Crosse. If you're not in the line by the white flag of the previous race, you have to start, dead last.
Him and Tony Bagstead
both got caught by that, so they ended up starting last in that first feature. Panitsky did a nice job getting all the way up to 7th in that first one. Second one, he wasn't messing around. He made sure he was one of the first ones out there. And then, as you see, he picked his way through, ends up winning this one going away.
Brent Kirshner hitting second and Nick Clements hitting third, so what a good night for both of those guys here late in the season. Kirshner's one, I talked to him earlier in the night, said he's got an old car, old parts, building a brand new ride for next year, and he was surprised to see that come around. To the Sportsman we go, and what a night for Brian Hesselberg. He's gone for an entire month, didn't even think he was going to be back until Oktoberfest after wrecking, then going out 2 weeks, coming back and wrecking twice in the same night, out for an entire month, and it was all the great babe.
Yeah, if you watched, if you were there Saturday night, you saw when I was doing the Victor Lane interviews, he pulled in to Victor Lane for the dash, and I noticed in the back of his car, his left rear shock was hanging there. It wasn't even attached for the dash. And then he gets out in front for the feature, and he weathers, another late caution, ends up holding off Bachman to win his first feature of the year. So after all the stuff he's been through this year, it's finally a good end the season in Victory Lane.
Steve Bachman was coming in hot in turns 3 and 4, a little bit too hot as Randy Humfeld crept underneath him to steal second away from Bachman. Steve Bachman takes third, so two of those three drivers are still in contention for the Chase Championship coming up during Oktoberfest. To the Thunderstocks we go. I told you a long time ago we should have just stopped this segment and just recorded one line.
Jesse, where's our obligatory picture of Moore? Where is that yellow 29? Just put it up there.
Picture of Andy Moore.
Maybe put a checkered flag frame around it.
Coming up here, and we were just going to change the numbers each week. He just pulled off feature number 8, as you're going to see in the last two laps here.
Yeah, another impressive night. Patiently works his way up to the front, and what can you say? We talked about this over and over again. The dream season just continues. And I don't know if you saw, he won the Bud Dash tonight, Saturday night. And he wasn't even thinking about it. Took off his coat like he always does for a picture. And he had Budweiser on his T-shirt. So there's some good promo. Nice job, Mr. Moore.
Way to represent. Taking second and third was Jason Bolster and Bill Schott. And he's pretty much wrapped up the championship.
All he has to do is take the green flag at Oktoberfest, and it's wrapped up.
For the Thunderstock. Same story for the Street Stocks, and we're going to tell you about that later on here in the program. So the next event on the calendar for Crosse Speedway is the Autocross on Saturday, and I will be there. I thought I had a wedding to DJ, but I do not, so I'm going to be there. Gates open at 10. The timed runs start at noon. I guess they're going to be putting cones down all over the racetrack. And you're going to take your car, I think it's 80 entries. You can get in and out of the cones however the fastest you can. They're going to time trial you and see who's actually got the best handling car and the quickest.
I haven't seen that in a long time, so it'd be pretty cool to watch.
I told Paul Reichert to take a big wheel out there, and he refused to do it.
Well, he wants a motorized big wheel. He doesn't want to be,
that low to the ground.
Dead freaking last.
Hey, our guest in the program today, I guarantee could build him one that would probably go about 55 miles an hour. I know what this guy's done in the past. And when we return, we're going to tell you a little bit more about who our guest is. You're in the knee-deep, thick and thin of, not one of our last shows, but we've still got the entire month of September to go and the entire month of October to go. Coming up in the program, we're going to talk with Danny Fredrickson. He appeared out of nowhere. I get a text Saturday night at the Crosse Speedway, hey, dude, look down to the left of you. I'm here. Supporting Nick Paninsky.
Well, yeah. Well, Nick Paninsky had his truck and trailer. Nick had some problems with his truck, so Danny lent him his truck and trailer for the night. I think Danny was just checking up on his truck and trailer.
Well, that and Nick also and his wife Morgan were pitting for Danny at Kaukauna during the Dixieland 250, so they kind of swap back and forth. So we're going to talk to Dan Fredrickson here in a little bit. And Justin Mulligan tagged me in a really cool piece of video on Facebook this week. You know, a lot of drivers have been doing this now. Boo Bradley's been doing it a lot with Brian Hesselberg and Justin Berg. Justin Mulligan put a GoPro underneath his car on one of the frames, I guess it is.
It was the jack post and back.
Okay. And it's now the lowest video that we've seen at the La Crosse Speedway. It really shows, to me, the acceleration I thought is a lot more better on a video to watch than rather inside the car. So we're going to have that coming up as well.
That was a pretty cool video I watched. It gives you a different perspective. You can see how guys come up on you and, what the separation really is. I mean, you don't think it's that close when you're sitting up in the tower, but when you get down there, it really is.
When we come back, you're going to have a chance to watch that and a whole lot more. This is Seven Rivers Racing, brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue. Or you don't have to drive down to Des Moines to get great pulled pork too. If you want ribs, the best in town, pulled pork or chicken too, just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boar Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jerry Beyer, and I'm pleased to announce the opening of our new location. We're bringing our delicious ribs, pulled pork, and brisket to the north side of La Crosse. Now, if you live on the north side and you want delicious barbecue ribs, pulled pork, or brisket, now you'll find our Big Boar Cook Shack parked on the corner of George and Gillette Street every Wednesday through Sunday. We're just a short walk from your door. So come on over and sink your teeth into the barbecue voted best in La Crosse County. Don't forget takeout, Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful.
Yeah!
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists, providing Coulee Region families with perfect indoor weather all year long. Call for your free estimate today, 608-782-0977. Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. How about dinner? Don't get up, get online and get a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99. It's the best pizza delivery deal at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue. For Billy Doc Niles and Radio Man Dan Dyker, Paul Reicher sitting back there. Just got done holding this guy's hand because he was quite nervous. Known him for, I think, as long as I've lived in this entire area. Great guy, on and off the racetrack. He's funny. I think we've done pretty much everything together with the families, barbecues, racing, whatnot.
Yep.
And that would be Chris Critter Sampson. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Billy, I could not believe out of all the years, he's great friends with Dakota Miller, great friends with Caleb Miller. Obviously, he's running the 08 in memory of Caleb this year. That I've never had you on the show. Couldn't believe that.
Yep. I was been waiting for the opportunity to come on, but you never offered it to me.
One of the last Hornet guys allowed to run 3 numbers on his car.
Well, what I was amazed by was up in the tower the other night when you never asked me to be on your show.
I know I had to have.
Nope.
Had to have.
Nope, you've never had.
I don't know. With you and Caleb and Dakota and Brad Worthen, man, what a foursome that was right there. Hey, good successful year. Number one, it's great to see you back racing, man. When I first started at Crosse Speedway, the 119 was out there all the time. This is back when Harley Jankowski ran the Hornet with the deer horns on top, or whatever you want to call that. Then you backed out of racing for a little bit. You had some young ones, but good to see you back again.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Dakota gave me the opportunity last year to be his crew chief, and then in the off season he offered me the car, and I just couldn't pass it up.
And the way that this season's been, and Billy and I touched on this last weekend, you and Dakota running neck and neck in the street stocks. You're battling the madman John Aaron. Dakota's now into sportsman. He's kind of backed away from that. And by a very misfortune of John Aaron's illness, and this has been going on for almost like a month now with that guy, you were right there in the top spot. You've overtaken the points, and you are right there for a championship.
Yep, I can't count it out yet because we got 2 more nights. We got the Enduro night. We've got I believe our heats and features, and then we've got Thursday night of Fest, which is the championship night. So there's still room if I have another error like happened on Saturday night when I broke the axle in my primary car. If something happens like that, I could lose the championship just as easy. So I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch.
Being close, working together with Dakota, talk about what went into his decision to run strictly sportsman at the end of the year and leave the street stock championship on the table.
Because he was right there. He was 5 points back at one point.
Yep. And his big decision was he just didn't have enough time to do both. He couldn't work on both cars and be competitive in both of them. I mean, the last time he raced, he had a mechanical failure that he shouldn't have had happen, but it was just a misfortune because he was focused on getting his sportsmen together to be out there to help Brad, and it just happened. So he decided to focus on the sportsman more than he did on the street stock, and which has given me the opportunity to lead the points and have the backup car that I had.
So when you get to the awards banquet this January, the first thing out of your mouth is, I want to thank my brother Dakota.
Yeah, exactly. It's all because of him that I'm in that car.
Then, of course, he was in it last weekend. The way it was supposed to play out last weekend was Dakota was running his sportsman car, and Jordan Young was supposed to be running Dakota's street stock.
Yep.
I get up on the tower, and I mentioned Jordan's name during qualifying. Well, no. And I heard Jeff Garber's barking, and I'm like, no, I know who that is. No, there was a change because his car broke. Well, then I checked my phone. He'd already texted me and let me know that the change was going on.
Yep.
And it was automatically, that was a different car compared to yours.
It drives totally different. I mean, I don't know what it is about that car. They're the same exact contours. There's nothing been done special to either one of them. And that car just drives totally different than my normal car. And to me, it actually seemed to be driving a little bit better, so I just got to figure out what the slight differences are between the cars and actually make the adjustments to my car to make my car just as fast as that car was. Because during the heat race, it was fast. I mean, if I had another lap, I'd probably track down Thomas Ferrer to get the heat win. And if I didn't get into the wreck, in the feature with 93 Andy Feldkamp. If I didn't get into there, I probably would have been in the top 5 in the feature.
You talked about earlier about making adjustments. How many adjustments could you make on these cars? Because you can't do very much to them.
No, there's not very many adjustments you can make. It's basically, at the track, it's all air pressure in the tires and checking the stagger in the tires and checking the toe, and very minute adjustments compared to the Sportsman and the late models. But, there's a few things you can do at home. but not very much.
Talk about the street stock class. You and I talked about this a couple years ago. You couldn't believe that Crosse Speedway was bringing out six-bangers, and it's gotten this big where we've got 40 or 50 of them.
Yep. I actually enjoy it more than I did when I was racing the Hornets. I mean, I've raced in the Hornets since 2003 up until 2013 was my last full season. And this first year being in the street stocks has been totally more fun than I have ever had racing, other than racing enduros with Caleb, mind you. It's been more fun just this year alone that I have ever had. I mean, it's more, the cars have a little bit more power. They seem to drive a lot differently, and it's actually a lot more fun.
Would you consider driving one of the minivans? Because, man, I like watching them go around.
I was just going to ask you if we should put him in a minivan.
We should both do it.
There we go. There we go.
I drive a minivan at home.
You're now in charge of finding a minivan for these two to co-drive next year.
I don't think he would have a chance because I drive one every single day doing
That's true.
So I've got 3 kids at home, so I'm driving it like it's nothing anyway. So
a former late model driver going to the short track.
I had a family once. I had a few minivans in my time.
Before we let you go, I've known this guy for a long time. I pretty much have had your sponsors memorized, and he's one of them that has sponsors that stick with him every single year he's back to the track. Let us know.
We got Dakota Miller Trucking is the main sponsor. He's the one that's given me the car, given me the opportunity. Advantage Auto Salvage in Sparta. They give me the parts that I need to make sure the car stays on the track. We got Critter Did Fab and Auto Repair out of Bangor and Sparta. Of course, I keep the car on the track, so it's of course of a sponsor. And then the new one that just jumped on board a couple weeks ago, J. Frost Automotive out of Sparta. They are the great one. Oh yeah, and Billy Bob's Garage out of Sparta too.
I was going to say, he doesn't mention Billy Bob's Garage. I'm calling Billy as soon as we're done taping this segment right here. Hey, congrats on the season so far.
Thank you.
I know that you didn't expect to be talking about a championship this late in the year. You and Chris Larson have got a great battle coming on. Of course, he runs the number 12 Pontiac Grand Prix, and this one's not done yet. And I hope, like all classes, I hope it gets settled at Fest, because the buildup is huge.
Yep. As long as I have a good night, there might be a little bit of a points brace out there, but with the lead that I've got, I don't know if there's an opportunity for a good points battle, but we'll see what happens. As long as I have a good night, we'll see.
Chris Critter Sampson runs the 08, of course, in memory of the trunk monkey Caleb Miller, and he's right there. He's got a championship. He sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Doesn't want to see it close up, but would like to see it get brighter as the season goes on. When we return, a good friend of Billy Knocknall's tonight, Danny Fredrickson, is going to stop by the program, and we're going to show you a really cool video from Justin Mulliken on how close you can get a GoPro to the ground. That's coming up next on 7 Rivers Racing.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue. Or you don't have to drive down to Des Moines to get great pulled pork too. If you want ribs, the best in town, pulled pork or chicken too, just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boy Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jerry Beyer, and I'm pleased to announce the opening of our new location. We're bringing our delicious ribs, pulled pork, and brisket to the north side of La Crosse. Now, if you live on the north side and you want delicious barbecue ribs, pulled pork, or brisket, now you'll find our Big Boar Cook Shack parked on the corner of George and Gillette Street every Wednesday through Sunday. We're just a short walk from your door. So come on over and sink your teeth into the barbecue voted best in La Crosse County. Don't forget takeout. Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists, providing Coulee Region families with perfect indoor weather all year long. Call for your free estimate today, 608-782-0977. Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. How about dinner? Don't get up, get online and get a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99. It's the best pizza delivery deal at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut.
Welcome back. Big Board Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing, KQAG TV. IB Radio Man Dan Diker, along with Billy Doc Niles. I had a special visitor at the Crosse Speedway on Saturday night, and normally don't see this guy, but maybe once a year. Well, he may come and practice maybe once or twice in September, but you don't normally see him until Oktoberfest. And Danny Fredrickson had a chance to stop by. Texted me up at the tower, said he was down on the left, so we brought him up on the tower. How many Oktoberfests has he won?
3 or 4, I believe. Paul?
That sounds about right, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We always have to have Paul Reichert, a historian, here in the corner. He's holding our guest's hand still, so he was a little nervous during that segment. So Fredrickson had a chance to come on the program, and it was interesting. He was really intently watching Nick Panitsky. I was watching him as he was standing in the grandstands, then sitting in the grandstands, and then after that first feature was done, he kind of made a beeline into the pits and told Nick what he needed to know, come back. Well, obviously it worked because Nick ended up winning that race, and here is Dan Fredrickson up on the tower with me last Saturday.
And again, folks, if you're here for Oktoberfest Race Week and a name that's always won in the hunt for another 200-lap Oktoberfest feature win will be super late model Dan Fredrickson. He joins us up in the booth. Danny, how are you?
Doing great. Just come out to watch my buddy in the 22 there. He helps me out when I race, and he's not, and he's had a great year this year, so this is the first time we've gotten out to watch him, so we're enjoying it here.
I know Nick was helping you out down in, goodness gracious, where were we at? Kaukauna about a month or so ago, and you had a subpar finish there. I know you wanted to win that race pretty good. A good win down at Madison International Speedway last night.
Yeah, it's a little 3-race points deal, Triple Crown they call it, and Paul Schaefer Jr. won the race last night, and then we won the Triple Crown deal. So just a small little 3-race deal, but still a lot of fun and great track down there, you know.
You know, here at La Crosse, we've been averaging between 25 and 29 late models this season. I know for a guy yourself that drives as much as you do, the numbers, you like to see that.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I'm seeing so far just in these 10 laps some great racing. It's kind of a bummer that Nick had to start in the back there, but it looks like it wound him up pretty good, and he's coming through the field nicely, so we'll see what he makes of it. And, you know, we hope him the best. I mean, Steve Carlson, he's been a mentor and a hero of mine since I was probably, you know, old enough to understand what was going on. So, you know, I got like one of my best friends racing against one of my heroes, and Steve's my friend too. So it's very interesting. These La Crosse fans should be very thankful that Nick runs down here 2.5 hours to race against Steve, and you know, it's been great. We've been watching it, of course, online and in the ads and racing nuggets and all that, and now we get to witness it firsthand.
Here in just about a month or so, believe it or not, we're going to be upon Oktoberfest. I can't believe we're even crowning champions tonight as our drivers are going to start crossing them up. We're going to find out the front row again. Will be Nick Clements. Cole Hamilton's going to succeed that. Matt Henderson got about a month ago. What's in store for you before the famous Oktoberfest?
We'll be at the Dells for the ARCA Midwest Tour race, and then the Thunderstruck at Elko, of course, is a very big one for me. And we'll be down here on Thursday with young Cole Anderson. We brought him here for the Thunder race. Turned out pretty decent for him, and we'll have him down here for that Futures race and the Trickle, and I look real forward to the Oktoberfest, the big race on Sunday here again.
A race I know that you would like to win again.
Yeah, I'd like to win every one of them if possible.
All righty. Good to have Danny Fredrickson, Super Late Model driver, back up here. He's won Oktoberfest in the past. And again, he's going to be one to watch here in the future. Again, Super Late Model Dan Fredrickson, thanks for stopping by.
So again, I want to thank Danny Fredrickson for stopping by the tower. And of course, his sister will be baking us cookies again.
Oh, God, I love them cookies. Boy, he's determined to win fest, ain't he?
He wouldn't get into a whole lot of detail. And of course, if you know Danny Fredrickson, of course, he won in Madison. He won the late model three-stage challenge here a couple of weekends ago. He's a great guy off the off the TV cameras and the radio. But, man, I tell you what, when you talk racing, that guy's fierce, and you've had those conversations with him.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely focused on what he wants to do, and it looks like he's willing to finish the season out, trying to take Thunderstruck, trying to take Oktoberfest.
Well, we had a nice little nugget. A lot of drivers have been tagging me all year long, and if I get a chance, we put it on the TV show of what their GoPros are doing. And Justin Mulliken did it last weekend. Again, he had a GoPro attached to...
He had it attached to the jack post on the very rear of the car, the lowest part of the car in the back, so you can see straight back to what's coming at you.
Well, we're going to run the film right here, and you've got to watch this. Number one, I love the familiar sounds because everyone's GoPros. You got the motor going. I just wait to smell the fuel right there. But as you watch this video here, number one, I could hear the dinging coming off of the camera. Obviously, rocks were hitting it, which I thought there would have been a lot more gravel on the track, especially when he goes around turns 3 and 4. But I thought the coolest thing, being ground level, was the takeoff on, it was about 3 laps in. And, of course, we've shortened this video right here. There was a couple opportunities. He was putting drivers that were running his bumper coming into turn 4 in and out of turn 2. He was putting about 20 lengths back.
Yep. And to go off one of your points, the tinging, it's usually chunks of rubber that's flying around out there more than it is gravel. You got, because if you look up in the corners in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you got them chunks of rubber all over the place. That's the rubber coming off the tires and landing up there with the centrifugal force. I knew that. Anything
you see different when you watch this video here, other than watching a GoPro, say, out of Matt Henderson's back rear light, or maybe out of the front of a car?
It gives, like I said in the first segment earlier in the program, it gives you a different perspective of just how close somebody really does get to you, and how, you know, where it may seem like a big distance to the naked eye from the tower, it's pretty darn close. And you're going to see in this video just what it's like on the last few laps of this heat race.
So I want to thank Justin Mulliken for supplying that video today. That was pretty cool. That's the first time we've seen actually a camera that low to the ground. And between the month of September and October, we're going to have a lot of drivers sending us a whole bunch of stuff. Just different perspectives of, rather than watching from the outside, cars going around and around, you can actually see inside, just like they do with GoPros for street drags.
Oh, yeah, or just like NASCAR, you can see some of the different stuff that they show in the car and outside the car. We're starting to get that around here, and I think it's pretty cool.
Now we need to have radio so we can hear all the good in-car communication like you hear with NASCAR. A lot of 7-second delays and bleeps will be going on.
You don't think there'll be a lot of colorful talk here?
I would sure like to hear that. All righty, so that's going to do it for the program. A lot of interesting guests coming up for the next month or so, as we have an Enduro coming up at the Crosse Speedway, and then, of course, Oktoberfest. For Billy Doc Niles and Chris Critter Sampson, Paul Reichert, I'm Radio Man Dan Diker. I want to thank you for joining us. Look us up on YouTube and Facebook. Until next week, that'll do it. I want to thank Big Boar Barbecue for sponsoring the show right here on KQEG TV.
You've been watching the Big Boar Barbecue presentation of Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV. Seven Rivers Racing is brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue on Highway 16 West Salem and downtown La Crosse. Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists on La Crosse's north side. By Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona. Pizza Hut. Join us next week at this same time for Doc and Dan and Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.